going on, guys?
All right, guys.
We're a week out.
We got a lot of work to do. We're just finishing up the small details.
Us three do work great together, but Suppy's just throwing a wrench in the way of everything and messing everything up every 5 seconds.
That's what he does.
Let's get it going.
That's what he
That's the wrong bars.
In this episode, we test drive the car, but before then, you're gonna see us do how many other things?
Well, we got a couple things to address before we test drive it for the first time. We have to make some minor suspension adjustments, especially to the front. I have to install some limit straps. This is gonna be really important to address our droop issue, and we have to adjust the ride height for the front as well.
Yes. And then we are gonna do the finishing touches. We're gonna wait for our friends over at Sticky Fingers to come, do the decals, button it up, and then off it goes.
Yeah, I'm feeling really hopeful for this test drive that we're about to do. I think it's gonna go without a hitch.
Yeah, sure. We're starting this car today. Okay, a bunch of prep work went in today, and it's that time. Let's go get it started.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh, no leaks.
No runs, no drifts, no errors. We got the car started, and now it's time to move on phase 2, which is to drive the car. So here we go.
My guy Ron just came in. You guys might remember Ron from Killer Mike's Grind National. Every time we need wheels, we go to Ron from Wheel Pros, and he never, ever ceases to deliver.
Your KMC's 15-inch V-Box.
That's gonna look really good. See these, Grimm?
Yeah, that's nice. No, they fit out just fine. So
Absolutely.
it being a B-block, we could just push the tire on? Is that how that works?
Yeah. You can just slap the tire on over this and then bolt on the bead ring.
Ron gave us the wheels. They look fantastic. They're out getting the Mickey Thompsons put on right now. And then hopefully by the end of the day, these guys are gonna start it a little more and we might be able to drive it, because honestly, I'm not gonna see it again until I get to Michigan. We tested the front seat, see if I could fit in it so I could race, and I did actually fit fine, which is cool.
This is actually quite comfortable.
So one of my favorite things about this build is that the guys down here have a way of making everything custom look factory, which totally blows me away. So like every one of these reservoirs, you know, that's something that Grimm did, right? He put it in CAD, he actually made them. All the brackets, all custom made, the exhaust custom made. And the fact of the matter is, if we had extra time, they could probably make this and dress the engine compartment so it looked 100% factory, so people wouldn't know. I mean, aside from the big 4-inch pipe sticking out of the hood. The other cool part is everything that was designed for this rear end is actually designed to come out so we can put it in another vehicle later on, because that's really the purpose of the show, right? They're making it so that it can come out, be reinserted, come out, be reinserted. No joke, one of the best fab teams in the country. I'm totally convinced of that.
Oh, wow. That's so badass.
So the original plan was to cut the coil because it's a 2023/2024 Dodge Hornet. They don't actually make any coilovers for this car yet. So the proper way we're gonna lower this is I'm gonna take the housing out of the car and I'm gonna weld plates on the outside of the housing and then drill some holes, 1/2-inch adjustments, boom, 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 boom. So we can just take the bolts out and we can raise it up and down like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these on the plasma table and then take the spring and the strut out of this so we don't blows up the strut, and then I'll weld them onto there.
We always try to take our time before we go to test drive. We don't want to go out there and have no brakes, steer to the right, and hit a wall right away. So we're going through the final checkpoint, looking over the rest of the car. We're lowering the front end. We got the interior back together. We fixed the leaks.
Car's running great, but we just have a couple more things that we got to do. So right now I'm making some little block off plates. We're focusing on safety today. Got a couple block off plates here, bolt these on, bada bing, bada boom, get that done. Suppy's doing some more interior stuff, putting the switches into their final positions. We gotta get some seat belts in this bad boy. But then other than that, we just gotta cut the hood to shape, and we gotta put some limiting straps on our front suspension so it doesn't droop too much. Other than that, we're gonna do our first test drive later tonight. So stay tuned.
I'm installing the seat harnesses to make sure it's safe. The last thing we need is someone getting hurt, especially in a drag car that's sketchy. It's gonna be scrolling everywhere, and we have no time to break the car in and really fine tune the suspension. So we gotta at least make sure the car is as safe as possible.
Right now I'm installing our limit straps for our front suspension to eliminate some of our droop. So what I'm making is I'm making a little top hat that goes in between the shock mount and the shock itself. It's gonna sandwich there, bolt it up. It's gonna have a tab that's gonna hold the top of our strap. Make a little spacer, bolt that onto the sway bar mount, and then we'll have a limit strap.
We're not that shop that gets free stuff and promotes people. The guys over at J&S, every single time we bring them something to do for us at an incredible timeline, they come through every single time. If you're ever in Southern California and you need a rear end made, J&S Gear over in Huntington Beach.
I'm building a handle for the neutral selector. We noticed that it's super gosh darn annoying to have to turn the car on every time just to have it in neutral so we can push it around, because it has this fancy like electronic shifter. And every time you turn the car off, it automatically puts it in park. So it has a little knobby thing on the side of the transmission where if you rotate it, then it'll put the thing in neutral, but you have to hold it. So I'm building a handle so we can hold it on the line, and then somebody else can push the car forward so we don't have to turn it on and off every time.
Sounds like a whole lot of stuff that Grimm's brain somehow makes work.
I can't help it, I'm so smart.
Ready? So in the past 30 days, we shoved this 3-liter inline-6 twin-turbo hurricrate engine with an 8-speed transmission into our little Dodge Hornet.
It's been a wild 30 days. Not only did we put the awesome hurricrate engine in, but moving to the back, we got a custom 4-link, solid rear end, works incredibly well. We have serious drag slicks on this bad boy. We had to cut the entire center out of the car to accommodate a big old drive shaft and the 8-speed transmission. And on top of that, in the engine bay, we had to make all of our containers. We had to fit our custom radiator, custom intercooler system, exhaust, everything.
Direct Connection did make it a little easier for us. They shipped us the engine, the transmission, and the computer, and all the hardware that made it together. The harness was pretty much plug and play. We kind of mounted the ECUs and some power leads, and it was good to go.
Yeah,
Right?
pretty straightforward.
So if you guys are looking for 600 horsepower and cool turbo noises, go hit up Direct Connection, click that button, and it's at your house. Install into whatever you want, and you're ready to go.
That's right. Get to it. We just test drove it, and I'd say it went very, very well. Right out of the gate, feels incredible. Tomorrow,
Oh, it gets loaded up and it's off to Detroit. See you guys in Detroit.